Welcome to this quick Wednesday episode on the 8th of April, 2020, which is the fourth month of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. Listen, I'm delighted to share with you today words of wisdom and points of view that just may deliver some inspiration. But first, let's remember to look at the Harmony Enterprises motto, which is to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you, that dreamed all of us into being. Because when we can look at life from this point of view, we can rise above the fear and the anxiety that some of you may be experiencing. So I'm Carrie Fox, and my life has been devoted to uplifting mankind. But my main focus for the last 20-30 years has been on helping wounded women. You know, women who feel broken and numb to get their mojo back. And this pandemic is the perfect example of how we can allow the challenging stuff to break us down or to break us open, to expose the light inside. So let's get to it. Now, I'm sure all of you know how something can break you down. And I want to let you know it has everything to do with our personal operating system. You know, just like a computer has a Windows system or an Apple system or an Android system, we have an operating system. Well, in fact, we have two, and we get to choose which one is our main or dominant operating system. Now, one of the operating systems is in your head. It's the organ known as your brain. And we've fallen into the assumption that our brain is in charge of everything. And one of my main objectives for today's episode is to explain to you from the infinite wisdom point of view that that's just not true. Now, let's just for a moment consider the fact that the brain might be, or in my case, understanding it is 100% a data storage system. It gathers absolutely everything that has ever happened to you, everything you've experienced through your five senses, what you have seen, what you hear, feel, taste, and it files that information away for future reference. So that the next time you're tempted to put your hand in an open flame, the random data access can let you know, oops, we've done that before, and that can burn your flesh, and it can hurt as well as damage the cells of your body. So you can decide to do or not to do that. Now, your other operating system is located in a different part of your body. It's around your heart. So let's look at the difference between using your head or your heart as your main operating system. Now, this is important, so pay attention here. This data storage system that is your brain has a gatekeeper that is known as your ego. And your ego can either be healthy and your partner, or it can be an out-of-control ego. Now, when it is an out-of-control ego, it causes you to react to things in what we tend to consider to be negative ways, like being reactive or scared or believe in scarcity or feel hate or withholding yourself from really living your life, criticism, resentment, blame, loneliness, hurtfulness, competition, avoidance, anger, jealousy. These are all reactions that you have when your ego, your out-of-control ego, is where you're operating from your brain, from your head. It causes you to have what I call stinking thinking. But there's another way of being in the world, and that's operating from your heart, where you can function from a place of love. Now, the list on the right here is the list of thoughts and feelings that emanate from you and are delivered to you from a heart operating system. There's feeling contribution and responsive and abundance, caring, openness, unity, gratitude, forgiveness, understanding, hopefulness, healing, cooperative, engagement, joy, and appreciation. So when you are operating from the head, where the ego lives, or from the heart, where love lives, it's up to you. Now, once you understand this difference, what exactly stinking thinking is and where it comes from, you can recognize when it pops its nasty little thoughts into your head and into your day. You'll be able to see when the ego pulls you in an oh poor me story from the past, and you can choose to stop it and to switch your attention over, switch your consciousness over to your heart or your love area. And therefore feel the love and support and the hope that comes from that switch. So, which operating system have you been operating from? So you can choose to view everything that is happening to you right now because of the pandemic from a place of fear and anxiety, and that means that you're under the control of an out-of-control ego. Or you can rise above that. You can use your heart as your operating system. Now, be connected to the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. That's accessed through your heart operating system, where you know in your heart that this too shall pass, and to do your part in helping others to be heartful about walking your way, about walking their way through each day. So to break you open and to shine your light from a place of love includes humor. To look at the bright side. To add some humorous perspectives to your day. To this time of your isolation. To use some of this time to find ways to protect yourself. To think about what you are going to do when this time of isolation is over. Or when we come out the other side and you can dine out again, and you'll also find things like this picture, which is going to be nominated for the Painting of the Year 2020. And you can be so proud of the ways that you found to entertain yourself. Now is the perfect time for you to tackle things like that to-do list that you never seem to find time to do before. But when we get in a situation like many people feel they are in this isolation period, they forget about the isolation or the to-do list they've had forever, and they're concentrating on what they feel deprived of. So tell me, those who are doing that, where are they operating from? Their ego operating system or their heart operating system? Their heart operating system says, where's that to-do list that's about 7 pages long? I bet I can knock off a couple of them. And for those of you with children at home with you, you can partake in a little revenge. With things like talking to them about something that's coming up, the National Homeschool Tornado Drill. Which is funny. But you know, sometimes things may get out of hand and you may sink into feeling bored. So who is it? So you don't have to be bored. You can create a schedule. When you go to work, when you used to work outside your house, didn't you have a schedule of the time you got up and how long it was going to take your drive, your commute drive, and what you did first at work and what time your lunch was, all of that stuff. Do the same thing with this time you now have at home. Create a schedule. Make sure to include getting outside and being outside. Just don't be within 6 to 10 feet of somebody. But if you have a chance to go to a park to be in nature, oh, for goodness sakes, do that. And breathe in fresh and natural air and the vibrations of nature. Make sure you include some creative time. Include some introspection time. Meditate. Read. You can do this. And let your heart be your guide and find ways to enjoy and take advantage of your reprieve from the hectic and often helter-skelter world that goes on outside of you. You can have remote conversations. But let me warn you, please resist boredom. Do something active. Have a second try at a hand sanitizer. Find out what others around the world have done or are doing. Or allow your heart to break yourself open, to shine your light, and to be happy. And let's face it, times are hard. But you are the dancing queen. And you can always put yourself under house arrest, or at least stop yourself from going to the refrigerator again. And just remember, this too shall pass. And you may just come out of the other side after using this time to rest, reset, prioritize your purposes, etc. And remember to insert into your days time to connect with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. The guidance you receive may just be a huge part of changing your whole way of being in the world. So that when the dust settles, and you can decide who you want to be during this pandemic. You can live in the fear zone. You can live in the learning zone, or you can live in the growth zone. So I hope you received some inspiration from today's episode and learned how to choose your operating system. You can learn to live from your heart operating system and to recognize when your out of control ego, brain, head operating system is leading you astray and is leading you to stinkin' thinking. So thanks for joining me today. Until next time, I'm Carrie Fox with Harmony Enterprises, reminding you and hoping to help you get your mojo back. And remember to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. Bye for now.